Hey, welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. You're asking yourself, what is this? A Minnesota football party on a Wednesday? Well, the Vikings are 10-2, so we're going to give you more football here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first watch or listen today. Usually, this group gets together on Fridays. We're moving it up in the lineup. We're on Wednesdays now. We're about to meet the whole group here in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Start the season or end the season now at this point in the NFL season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with the $150 in bonus bets. If you win that first $5 bet, visit FanDuel.com to get started. Kirk Cousins is coming to town on Sunday. That's 4 days from now. We've got plenty of Kirk versus Darnold discussion to get into. And looking forward, we just had an offseason where the Vikings had a pretty big quarterback decision. They've got another one coming up. I'm going to hit these guys with some serious quarterback scenarios that they will have to react to. Are you freaking out about Aaron Jones' fumbles? We'll get to that as well on today's show with our crew that you're about to meet right now. Take it away.
I'm Julia Daniels. I'm from the Care 11 Sports Department. And this season, I have a better inkling for a Vikings Super Bowl because The Simpsons already put it in an episode.
I'm Ron Johnson, former Gophers wide receiver, NFL wide receiver. And I got to talk about Kirk Cousins. He's coming to town, but is Sam Darnold going to do what he did to every other quarterback and slay him?
I'm Reggie Wilson, and we're talking to Aaron Jones today at Vikings practice and his fumbles. Are we worried? I'm certainly not.
I want to see the thing where Aaron Jones is carrying the football around the facility. I want to hear that he's bringing it to bed. He's holding it at dinner. He's holding it at breakfast. That's what I expect from Aaron Jones, to shake the fumbling woes. We'll, of course, get into that. But let's start with the quarterbacks.
Sam, I got to start you off with a movie, though. Do you know what movie that's from? Guy has to carry a football everywhere he goes.
Longest Yard?
Nope.
No.
What? You might be too young. You might be too young. It's The
Jerry
Program.
Maguire?
The Program.
See, this is one, and this is one that I haven't seen that I know I have to see.
You have to see The Program.
Yeah.
Omar
I
Epps.
thought it was High School Musical where Chad has a basketball with him at all times.
Okay, that's weird. Why? No, The Program fits this exactly. He fumbles one time in the game. The coach makes him take it everywhere with him. And if anybody on the team brings the ball back other than him, he's in trouble. And so it's a good movie. So I won't ruin the scene, but there's a classroom scene of a football and these guys. And I will say the NFL stole this when they did their 100th anniversary commercial with Ed Reed. That scene was actually stolen from The Program. So we can jump into the show. But Sam, come on now. The Program, you got to watch.
I thought you were going to say Dawson's Creek.
Wow. I refuse to watch anything like that.
Good football scenes in that one, for sure. Kirk Cousins coming on Sunday. Sam Darnold opposing him. This is the question I will pose to the group. So if everything else is equal, so you have the same free agents, same roster, coaching staff, they found a way to work it out with the money, which isn't that outlandish because I think Kirk is still counting like $28 million against their cap when he's gone. Would the Vikings have a better, the same, or worse record with Kirk Cousins? And I will start with a stat. Ron, you talked a lot about QBR on the latest Ron Johnson show, and I thought, well, let me look at the QBR. This season, and again, QBR is 0 to 100. A 50 QBR is kind of like average. So Sam Darnold has 2 games this year where he was below a 50 QBR. The blow-up game against Jacksonville and the Jets game in London where he was just he was seeing ghosts. Kirk Cousins this year, he's played 12 games. He has 7 games below a 50 QBR in Atlanta. And that includes a 4-interception game last week. Each of his last 3 games, he's been below a 50 QBR. So I guess it comes down to this. Do you think Kirk Cousins would have been better in this environment than he's been in the Atlanta environment? Because he clearly has not been better than Sam Darnold in his environment versus Sam Darnold here. So let's kick it off with Julia Daniels. Better, worse, the same with Kirk Cousins in town?
I'm gonna have to go with it's a little bit different with Sam. I remember a few weeks ago when he was asked about everyone talks about how you use your legs, and he's like, I don't know why everyone's so surprised by that. Sam Darnold's more, he's younger. He is more mobile than Kirk Cousins is, and he's used that well this season. And I don't think that we would see Kirk, especially coming off an Achilles injury like he had, we wouldn't see him moving the way that Sam Darnold has this year. I also think it's different. I don't really know because I'm not these guys that are in the locker room, but Sam Darnold's new coming in, but he also has a lot of other guys that are new coming in too. So they're kind of all on the same playing field. I know the guys loved Kirk when he was here, but also you just don't know how he's going to rub guys like Aaron Jones, different guys that they brought in this season, because the free agency has been a huge reason why they've been so successful this year. But I think the number one thing is Sam Darnold can move in a way that Kirk Cousins just can't. And it's for a multitude of reasons, the injury, his age. We just never, we saw him run a little bit last year and the year before that too, when KOC first started, but not in the way that we have seen Sam Darnold move.
Meet Bo, everyone.
There's
Bo,
there's a bird outside the window.
feline.
So Bo is
that's the fifth panelist on the Minnesota football party is Bo the cat.
But yeah, I would say, I think that Sam Darnold, would be a better fit for the Vikings this year than Kirk would be, just in terms of being the new guy, but mostly because he's able to move in a way that Kirk just can't.
I've got a stat on that too. Scrambles. Kirk Cousins has two scrambles this year. 2 in 12
was
games.
looking at their rushing yards too and comparing them, and Kirk has like 4 total if you don't count the negative. And Sam has obviously way more. He's got, let's see.
PFF has him on 22 scrambles. I don't know what they classify as a scramble, if it's just anything positive, but that's 11 times more than Kirk Cousins.
He's got like 70 or 80 rushing yards or something this season.
Yeah, like the Munt touchdown last week. You does Kirk make that play? I don't know if Kirk makes in fact, I know for a fact Kirk does not make that play. And Kirk could have, and Ron, you were on this the whole offseason. Like, I think a lot of people downplayed the impact of the Achilles. And you said like, no, this could be an issue for him. And it's hard to see it maybe with the naked eye, but there's probably 10 to 20% of him that is more hesitant to plant, more hesitant to run. And I'm sure that is just enough to kind of knock him down a peg.
Well, first of all, I want to get to the point of Sam Darnold acting like we're surprised he can run. Yes, we are surprised you can run.
Yeah, like, of course, we never
you are unathletic at times quarterback. Now, are you Josh Allen? No. Are you Aaron Rodgers? No. Are you Michael Vick? Hell no. But I will say, and I said this earlier in the season, Sam, you remember this. I said, when you watch Sam Darnold play softball, him and JJ McCarthy, I was surprised about how athletic he was playing third base. I was surprised at how many plays he made. It was like watching A-Rod and I forgot the other steroid guy that was on the Yankees when they were together. A-Rod and Jeter. Sorry. A-Rod was the steroid guy. Sorry, Jeter was not. I'm going to hit on my guy from Detroit.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. Wait a minute.
A-Rod, it wasn't Jeter. It wasn't Jeter. It was A-Rod. But, you look at A-Rod and Jeter, and I joked with those two about that. But Sam Darnold, right now at 187 rushing yards, his best season, full season, was like 222 yards. So he's on pace to get close to 300 yards rushing this season, the way he's running the ball. He has had an 84-yard rushing game in the past, but that was like 2020. So everybody was under the weather with COVID. So who knows who actually tried to chase him and who didn't care. But when you think about Sam Darnold and what he's doing here, and Sam, sorry, so I had to address that because I hate when people are like, "Well, I could run." Like, we know you can run, but you're not a runner. But to the Kirk Cousins, yes, the Achilles coming. Like I said, what I say, Sam? It's been a year and a month since the day he had surgery. Mm-hmm. Most Achilles injuries, if you look at like the Mamba mentality, it takes a full year. Like, it takes a full year, and so Kirk Cousins, I don't think he like really can push off of it or trust it yet. I mean, look at TJ Hawkinson coming off his ACL. He doesn't look great. Like, he doesn't look like the guy we saw that deserves all that money. He looks like a tight end fighting to get back and trying to find his way back. So yeah, Kirk Cousins as a rusher versus Sam Darnold. And the one thing I want to say about this team, a little Peter Bukowski terrorism. He's out there saying like, oh, this 2024 team is just like the 2022 team. Erroneous on every account. If you look at the defense, and this is why I would say, would the Vikings be better or worse with Kirk Cousins? I think they'd be the same, because it comes down to the defense. Like, both quarterbacks are good. They might actually have more yards passing. I think Kirk would have loved to have Kevin O'Connell in his headset more. Whereas you look at the Falcons, when you have a defensive-minded coach and a team that's like trying to get their defense together, and you have a veteran quarterback like Kirk, I think they're treating him like a Peyton Manning, or they're treating him like a Tom Brady. Like, hey, you go do you. We bought you in to do you. You do you. You figure it out. Kirk still needed Kevin O'Connell. Like, Kevin O'Connell made him great. And so the one stat when you look at the defense is first in stopping the run. Now, 28th in stopping the pass, but first in interceptions. So it's like boom or bust. Like, it's like a home run hitter. You're either going to hit a home run or you're going to strike out. And that's where Brian Flores plays it. And he's like, look, if I hit a couple home runs, I'm willing to strike out. I'm getting 18 interceptions off my guys right now. What I'm doing, I'm getting, I'm forcing 24 takes. They're second in the NFL for takes. So he's playing that boom or bust. And if you heard Josh Metellus yesterday, we had Blake Cashman on. That interview just dropped. Me and Blake Cashman linked up, of course, talked about our Gophers rowing the boat, winning the axe. But we also talked a little bit about the defense. And he just said, you know what, like, Brian Flores is giving them the tools to be able to get out there and say, hey, you're going to do this, but you got to trust. And he said the biggest thing is the trust. If I trust my guy who's standing next to me is going to end up in the deep half, I got to trust he's going to be there. And I think that's what Kirk did not have. Kirk had the 4-3 defense that was a Frankenstein defense trying to become a 3-4. It's not the same. It's not the same. And that's, honestly, it's like putting Muggsy Bogues in the post and say, hey, I need you to post up this week. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like Rudy, bring it up, man. We need you to be the point. It doesn't work. Like, Rudy Gobert cannot play point guard for more than 1 minute. Like, it doesn't work. And I think that's what Brian Flores was doing. He was trying to use Daniil Hunter and say, go be Andrew Van Ginkel. He can't do it. He can't stand up. He can't. So Kirk did not benefit from this defense. And that's the difference. This defense is a big part of why they're as good as they are. And so that's why I would say Kirk would do just the same as Sam Darnold. I honestly believe that.
And I lean that way too. I look at the games game by game, and I say, like, are there any games on the schedule where you say, wow, without Sam Darnold, they lose that football game? There aren't any 38-35 finals.
Sure.
With Kirk, you could argue, oh, well, they may have actually beaten a couple of those teams by more. They could have beaten Jacksonville by more. They could have beaten Tennessee by more, or actually Indianapolis is what I was thinking of there. Reggie, do you feel like Kirk in this environment would have played at a higher level than he is in Atlanta?
Yeah, but I guess you can't really like discount the Achilles thing. And here's the thing with Kirk, like, there's a pass that Darnold made last week that's kind of picking up steam on X right now, and it was him dropping back on the deep hash on the left and driving that ball all the way across the field toward the sideline over the defender to Jordan Addison. And he
Bears game
toe taps. Yeah. No, this past this past Sunday.
Okay.
And he toe taps, gets out of bounds, and like the ball was perfect placement.
Oh yeah.
If you watch Kirk Cousins on Sunday, he drops back and he throws. I think I saw someone say he threw a paper plane, and that ball just grooves over there, and it's picked off for a pick six. Darnold has greater arm strength than Kirk Cousins at this point. And, to Ron's point, I'm not sure how much he can drive off the foot. Sam Darnold talks a lot about, discipline with his feet and his eyes. But also, like, when Darnold is ready to rip one, he can rip one. And Kirk is not at that point at this point in his career. He is 36. You know, the arm isn't what it was, but also, he's got to figure mechanically different than years past as well. But that aside, you said if all things were equal, I mean, you look at the stats and the stats are not all that different. Like Kirk is throwing for more yards, he's throwing for more interceptions, 3 more. That 4 interception performance kind of added to that, but Darnold's at 23 touchdowns. He's rushed for a few. Kirk is at 17. I do think where they kind of equal each other, and I'll answer the question. I think the two guys are probably at the same place. I think similar results. With the Vikings, I still think that they're probably 10-2, because to Ron's point, I think having another year in Kevin O'Connell's system with Kirk Cousins, I think still allows him to play the position at a higher level.
The one thing I'll say though is they're not equal. Don't hate on Sam. The QBR,
I'm not.
The
I'm not
QBR,
hating.
the passer rating. No, I'm not saying hey. I'm just saying give Sam his credit though. He's killing him right now in passer rating.
Yeah,
like that's the one thing where Kirk used to hang his hat on, and we would hate on Kirk because we'd be like, oh, he never wants to take a chance. He never wants to. And so now Kirk is taking chances in Atlanta, and he's getting his butt beat. Like he's learning. Like this is why conservative Kirk was the way to go.
Atlanta experience.
Yeah, like he's trying to walk into this trap on Sunday and take over this trap. Like, and what he doesn't realize is like Brian Flores has been salivating for this opportunity. And so that's the one thing I want people to know. Sam Darnold's passer rating is 102.5. Kirk says 90. Like Kirk's damn near in the 89s, which is down with like, I mean, he's headed over into like Jacoby Brissett territory the way Kirk is throwing. But again, it is what how many interceptions was this last week, Sam?
4. For this past week, which
so
career high. Yeah.
That kind of killed it a little bit. Like that's probably what tanked him a little bit. But at the same time, and Reggie, you're right, 17-13 interception touchdown ratio for Kirk. I've never seen Kirk that bad. Like it's been a while since he's been that bad. I believe, and I don't know. I'm not gonna be conspiracy theorist because I've been watching a little bit. I feel like Atlanta might be trying to prove why they don't want Kirk. Like these coaches might be like, man, let's just let him go swimming in the deep end. And then our draft pick makes sense to the world because everybody's calling them stupid. Yep. And now if the coaches say, hey, look, if that's Kirk, man, he dropped it off on fourth and whatever, and he dropped it off to the running back.
Well, like, you know what is interesting, Ron, is that the Falcons have sort of been let off the hook a little bit by the Broncos. I think probably the Browns coming up and the Giants. Now, what do they all have in common? They all signed quarterbacks to huge deals and then said, we're just going to eat it. We're just going to cut bait. We're just going to take it. We're going to take it on the cap for a year, and then we're going to move on. And now the Falcons, there's precedent. There's precedent if they wanted to make a drastic move and just tear up the contract and just take whatever cap hit it requires, they could do it. And it wouldn't be that outrageous with what we've seen around the league. I do have one other stat. Kirk versus Darnold. Facing pressure this year. Darnold 3rd passer rating in the league. Kirk 28th. Or I'm sorry, 26th. Facing blitz. Darnold 1st with a bullet. Kirk 21st. So that feels like it plays very much into Brian Flores' hands.
And Sam, I think where I was going with what I was saying too was, I think things are a little bit equal too, because some of those games where Darnold just all out just struggled and looked bad, I would love to see what Kirk Cousins does when you are seeing that bracket coverage against Justin Jefferson, when things are a little bit more muddy. Like you saw the 4 interception performance from Kirk on Sunday, but where I say like they're probably still 10-2 is Kirk finds a way, but also he probably plays bad as well, because the thing about Darnold is he's able to extend plays a little bit from the pocket that in ways that Kirk wasn't able to. When things break down, Kirk is, I'm checking it down. Mm-hmm. And how many 3-and-outs did we see with Kirk Cousins because he just wasn't taking a chance or he didn't hang in there long enough? And I think some of the bad plays that we've seen from Darnold this year kind of get offset by some of the very conservative decisions that Kirk Cousins usually makes in the offense. If JJ's covered double covers downfield, he's not taking that chance. He's checking it down. Whereas Darnold's like, oh, I'm going to try to fit it in there because my arm is strong. And, maybe it gets picked off, or, maybe, it gets knocked away and we got a punt. So I think some of those things kind of equal out, and they're still 10-2.
And when you look at, here's the one thing I'll say too for this upcoming game, and this is where Vikings fans should feel really good. Sam Darnold in the last 3 games, 0 interceptions. Kirk Cousins, 6. How many touchdowns has Kirk Cousins thrown? 0. Sam Darnold's thrown 6. They are literally yin and yang right now as far as now yards, 724 to 811. They're close, but passer rating in the last 3 games, Kirk Cousins is 59.1. That is horrible. Like, that literally is horrible. 59.1, and then Sam Darnold is 111.7. So I got a Kirk Cousins jersey right here. Kirk is my guy, but I got to be honest, the last 3 games, and you can look at who they play, what's going on in Atlanta. It's just not good. And again, if I'm a coach and I was thinking about this, they are justified in letting them in Penix getting some run. And I'm not saying they're doing this on purpose, but it's very ironic that, like, what if he throws 3 interceptions against Minnesota in the first half? Like, do they pull him? Like, and do the fans cheer? Like, it's so much to this because this is what the media wanted. They wanted this game to look like this, whether it was Darnold's going to struggle and then we're going to get Daniel Jones in the game. Like, they wanted something, and the drama might be that. That might be Brian Flores going after Kirk with all. And these are 2 quarterbacks that the refs don't care about. So if this was any game for you to go after quarterbacks, this is the game, because the refs like, what? Face mask? Who face mask? I don't see no face mask. Like, that, oh, man, you hit him in the thigh. That wasn't the kneecap. That's not roughing the passer. Like, these are 2 quarterbacks that get no respect. And so I believe this might be a bloodbath too. Like, this is going to be dangerous because these refs don't care about these 2 quarterbacks. I don't know what it is, but they've never. And maybe it was the color purple. Neither of them have ever gotten calls in this uniform purple. Now, I don't know about Kirk in Atlanta, but I'm looking forward to that. Like, how many hits do they take?
People think about the Vikings in Minnesota sports.
We don't exist. Every power ranking right now, they're 10-2, and people have them like in the bottom
8th.
like like the bottom of the top 10. Like, how are they not 3rd or 4th? Like, it's such BS. And I
still don't trust
the message
Sam
on.
Darnold.
If you see the message on Twitter, Ryan Clark just tweeted out that he wants to be I don't know how serious he is. I don't know if he's trying to make fun of people getting jobs without ever coaching, but he tweeted out that he might go coach college football and blah blah. And I did the eyes emoji, like, let me know something, because, like, hey, if you need a receivers coach, hey, where we going? We're going to USC, we going to UCLA, let me know. And so he sent the message back, choking, like, I got you. So I DM'd him too, and I'm like, yo, what's going on with XYZ? And mainly I was trying to get his take on the Vikings, because, like, they don't talk like national, they don't talk about the Vikings right now. And he said literally, people don't believe in Sam Darnold. And I'm like, I guess that's the national narrative. It's like, Minnesota's good, but Sam Darnold's going to let them down at some point. So we'll see.
When we return, I've got QB Would You Rathers for 2025, and the name Aaron Rodgers will be uttered. That's next on the Minnesota Football Party. Brought to you today by Mint Mobile. With those big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. And with Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. Say bye-bye, night-night to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile's here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. Plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk, and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Ditch the overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal. Get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. Get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for $15 a month. Go to mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. NFL. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. We're also brought to you by Prize Picks. It's the best way to play daily fantasy sports. There's over 10 million members and billions with a B of dollars in prizes awarded. You can win up to 100 times your money right now with the correct entry. And as few as 4 correct picks. You can do this in 30 different states, including Minnesota. It is so fun. I love the flex play because, I might not be 100%. I might only go 4 out of 5. I might only go 3 out of 4. But with the flex play, you can still profit even if one of your picks doesn't hit, and I appreciate that. They now use Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals. I appreciate that as well. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So check that out. Download the app. Use code LOCKEDONNFL. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Welcome back, Minnesota Football Party, part of our lineup here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. Thanks to the everydayers who stick with us all week, all year long. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and hear the audio of this show, Locked On Vikings podcast feed. All right, let's stick with the quarterback conversation. I have 4 would you rathers for next year's quarterback. Quick responses. Give me your gut reaction when you hear it. Start with Ron. And then we'll go around the circle. So scenario number 1, Daniel Jones as the high-end backup for J.J. McCarthy at a Sam Darnold deal, 1 year, $10 million, or you get Darnold back on a Mayfield deal, 3 years, $105 million.
Give me the J.J. McCarthy. I think Kevin O'Connell is good enough that J.J. McCarthy, he can get him up to par. And then you have Daniel Jones, who can do it behind Kevin O'Connell's offense. I think, I'm very high on Kevin O'Connell. I truly believe, like when I hear Dan Orlovsky say there's a problem with how coaches are growing and grooming, Kevin O'Connell's one. So give me the Daniel Jones behind J.J. McCarthy.
Okay, Reg.
Yeah, unless Darnold just takes the Vikings to the Super Bowl, I don't see a scenario where I'm like, oh yeah, you got to stick with Darnold, because you got your young quarterback. I mean, Kevin O'Connell has been very, very complimentary of JJ from like the moment he touched down in Minnesota, and I think he's ready for him to rock. Got the franchise quarterback of the future. Let him rock. Let Daniel Jones back him up just in case, something happens. You got a competent backup. Sorry to Nick Mullins. But, yeah, I think you got to go JJ.
I'm going to go the same way with these guys. I think you draft a guy like that. As high as you did all that work to get him. I think you go with the Daniel Jones backup option. And also just for my own selfish reasons, who doesn't love to listen to J.J. McCarthy at the podium every week? He is so entertaining. But I think, yeah, you keep Daniel Jones as your backup and you save some and you build your franchise around the guy that you said you were going to build the franchise around, and you get entertained all at the same time.
Okay, Julia, I'll start with you for this next rotation. So what if you do the Darnold deal? Let's say it's 4 years, 140. You just commit to him. And with that, you trade McCarthy for a second-round pick. Or your alternative is you just roll with McCarthy and Mullins next year. So ditch McCarthy, you just commit to Darnold. Or you just commit all the way to McCarthy.
I think you commit with McCarthy. There's a reason you did what you did. He's a first-round draft pick, so trading him for a second round, I don't think. I just think they put so much faith in him. I would like to see it all play out, and I think you give him a chance. I agree with Reggie. Unless Sam Darnold takes you all the way to a Super Bowl, or I'll take it even further. Unless Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl for you, then there's no reason to do that. You have been talking about this kid being your franchise quarterback for months and months and months, and you hinted at it before you even drafted him. I think you stick with JJ McCarthy and Nick Mullins for that matter.
Sam Darnold. Give me Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. I do not trust JJ McCarthy with Nick Mullins as his backup. Give me Sam Darnold. I know what I get with Sam Darnold. I don't know what I'm gonna get with this kid from Michigan who hasn't thrown a ball further than 25 yards.
The rest of the season?
Give me Sam Darnold for 140, and I will. But you didn't say who's Sam's backup. Did you say would you say it was Nick Mullins still or?
I did not clarify that
because I'll take Sam Darnold with Daniel Jones under 10 million. Because again, the Giants owe him. This man got a lot of money. So give me Sam Darnold with Daniel Jones, trade JJ McCarthy for a second round pick. Give me that.
I'm trying to do some quick research. Like, so the dollar figures that I'm suggesting for Daniel Jones it's $35 million per year. Now, let me just give you a reference point for how good a deal that is.
And the cap goes up to like 300 though, too. So you have to remember that.
Yeah. That's like the 17th highest paid quarterback contract. You would be getting a bargain as far as quarterbacks go. Now, JJ McCarthy, that's even more of a bargain. That's like basically free. That's like free quarterback play. And you can sign other people. So Reggie, where would you stand on that? All the way to Darnold or all the way to McCarthy?
McCarthy.
Okay. Your team McCarthy.
Yep.
Could I interest you, Reggie Wilson, in imagine this. So you've got your side, JJ McCarthy, Darnold walks, or the other side of it, Aaron Rodgers gets cut by the Jets. He's getting paid by the Jets, kind of like Russell Wilson by the Broncos. So Russell Wilson signs basically a minimum deal, right, with Pittsburgh, right? He's playing for nothing. What if Aaron Rodgers came to you for nothing? Money's not an issue anymore. What would you do then?
McCarthy. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. If I'm a team,
you don't want him poisoning. The young kid.
Yeah, and everything that comes with them. Like I do understand people have this idea that it's like, getting Brett Favre all over again. But Favre actually was playing some good football with the Vikings, and I just don't see it. I think Rodgers might be cooked. I don't see it.
Yeah, like the Favre thing, I'm old enough to remember. Favre with the Jets was bad because Favre was hurt. Like Favre had them rolling, got hurt, and then sort of fell off a cliff. I don't think that's. I know Rodgers is banged up. I don't know if it's quite the same situation. So Julia, wouldn't it be fun to have Wednesday press conferences with Aaron? I know you love McCarthy at the podium, but Wednesday press conferences with A-Raj?
No. I don't think I would enjoy that at all. I don't think I would. I don't think anybody would enjoy that. It's just
you get a lot of viewers on KARE 11 Sports.
You just never know. The good thing about JJ McCarthy is you never know what you're going to get in a good way. With Aaron Rodgers, you never know what you're going to get in a bad way. And also just like I know it's like not confirmed and everyone tries to put the rumors to rest, but what comes with Aaron Rodgers coming into a franchise is like him thinking he literally runs the place. And I don't think that would work well in the Vikings facility at all. I think that they very much have a sense of team in the locker room just from being in there every week. And I think that is completely diminished when you bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on when he comes, him overthrowing Justin Jefferson and blaming it on Justin Jefferson.
Give me Aaron Rodgers. I want Aaron Rodgers. Discount, double check me. No. So listen, thing. If I knew I was getting Aaron Rodgers without the drama, I would take Aaron Rodgers. But
Aaron Rodgers without the drama.
He comes with so much drama. He comes with so much turmoil. He has so many ghosts in his closet of ladies past. You got all the ex-girlfriends, the family members that hate him. It's just too much drama. And we had Quinn Jersvig on the Ron Johnson show with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah's wife, Chelsea, and then Leo Cano. And they were talking about the family atmosphere and how it's the players and the families. It's not just the families. And I just feel like Aaron Rodgers would even like mess up with that apple cart. Like he would come in and it would just be weird everywhere. Where right now, last Sunday I was down there because I know some of them now. And so we were down there hanging out for a little bit before the game started. And you could just tell the family atmosphere, the players that come in after the game, same thing. It's family. Like, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would would fit into that mold. That's the only reason. Other than that, give me the stats. Give me some of the other stuff on the field. I think him and Kevin O'Connell would literally be like, Magic and Bird. Like it would be like, Pippen and Jordan. Like they would come up with the craziest schemes offensively. But Aaron Rodgers only has about a year left. Like you could tell Father Time is catching up to him. It catches up to everybody.
A lot of people said this about Russell Wilson. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing with a better fit.
Defense, though. That defense.
Vikings have a good defense.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Is Flores going to still be here, though, or is Kevin Warren going to come over here?
The scenario says Tycoon W. How about this will be our final scenario, and then we're going to use Bad Dad Joke because I like this, and I appreciate Bad Dad Joke for his loyal viewing. Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Jameis Winston, 2025.
Jameis Winston as the bridge, or go with McCarthy. Reggie's shaking his head. Reggie wants nothing to do with it.
Did you see what happened on Monday night? I mean,
Jameis for 500 yards.
He threw 4 touchdowns and six touchdowns technically.
That is the Jameis Winston experience, and we saw it.
6 touchdowns.
We saw it last year when he played with the Saints, and it was an experience. Like he'll come in and he'll light it up. Like he'll light it up, but then he'll also do some boneheaded things. You're like, Jameis, what are you doing? And so. Look, he has the credentials, former Heisman winner. He can throw it all over the field, but then he throws it all over the field to the other team as well. So, I'll never forget the year where he he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, and he got at the podium at the end of the season. He was like, I was balling. And Bruce Arians was like, yeah, give me Tom Brady.
Nah. Julia.
This is the day the Lord has made. Like Jameis Winston, I love the speeches. You gotta go with that.
He's a movie. He's a movie. But Julia, as far I think Jameis could just start for Cleveland next year, but let's say he's available as your Daniel Jones alternative, high-end backup option behind McCarthy. Would you take Jones or Winston?
Oh, God. I really don't like Jameis Winston as a person, so I have, reason to not want him to deal with him.
Vendetta.
So I'm going to go Daniel Jones. I think,
Vanilla Vic.
I don't care for the speeches. I don't care for anything. Reggie knows how I feel about Jameis Winston and his history, so I would rather Daniel Jones.
That's fair. Ron, did you answer this yet?
The Jameis Winston? Yeah, I like Jameis Winston. I do. I'm giving more credit to Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin O'Connell, he got Josh Dobbs to the moon. I mean, literally got Josh Dobbs. I mean, he's an astrophysicist, but he got him to the moon. He and Jameis Winston is better than Josh Dobbs, and he's athletic and he can run. I think there's some things what did Jameis Winston just say? He prayed away the pick six devils. So I just think that there's something that Kevin O'Connell could do for him too. Now, as a bridge, if we're saying him over JJ McCarthy, give me JJ McCarthy. Because JJ McCarthy's never been asked to throw the ball. And that's the problem. He's never been asked to throw the ball at Michigan. Look at that Penn State game. They ran the ball every single snap in the second half. He didn't even drop back to pass one time. And that's what Michigan, that's what Jim Harbaugh figured he could do. And so I think arm talent wise, all the stuff Kevin O'Connell saw, I think JJ McCarthy has it. You give him a chance to work with him, he'll be fine. But again, coming off that injury, we still don't know. Is he going to be a shell of himself, or is he going to be himself? Is he going to be what Kirk Cousins looked like? Because that first game Kirk Cousins came back was not great for the Falcons. He looked stiff, he looks worried. So that's all in factor. But I love Jameis Winston. Again, I give a lot of credit to Kevin O'Connell though. The only one of those situations I just don't like the drama that Aaron Rodgers brings. But I will say from a Vikings Entertainment Network standpoint, Jameis Winston mic'd up would be hilarious. Like just him researching the skull chant, him saying something stupid. Like I would just love it. You know, like, oh, the doors are open. It's snowing outside. The birds are chirping. This is the day the Lord has given us. The horses are coming through. Like, it's just, you never know what he's going to say.
For entertainment, that is the option that any franchise should want.
Yeah.
I think we all probably have a little too much like belief, and maybe we're all a little naive that JJ McCarthy is going to be fantastic right away. There's probably going to be growing pains there, but I do think that you have to stay the course financially and believe in your plan. The plan was to build your team around a rookie, trust that the coach can get him where he needs to be with time, and then just roll with it and see what happens. And if you can get what you've gotten out of Josh Dobbs, out of Sam Darnold, I think that given like the blank slate of a first-round pick, JJ McCarthy, I think you can get back to where you are as well. When we return, chill out or freak out about Aaron Jones fumbling issues, plus bold predictions for Sunday, Vikings-Falcons, next on Minnesota Football Party. We're brought to you today by FanDuel. Awesome deal for new customers right now. Bet $5, get $150 if that $5 bet wins. I'm going to tell you exactly how to get $150 free dollars. All you do is you find a nice money line, a lopsided money line, like the Eagles at home against the Panthers. Now, I know Thielen is balling right now. I know the Panthers are playing better football. Bryce Young showing some life. The Eagles are going to lose at home to the Panthers? I don't think so. Minus 720. So you can win about 70 cents on that $5 bet and then get 150 in bonus bets when that bet wins. That's the formula. That's how you do it. FanDuel.com, FanDuel Sportsbook app. Never waste a hunch. When you have $150 to play with, you can cash in on a lot of hunches, whether it's NBA, NFL, or NHL. Maybe just bet the Wild to win in overtime every night. FanDuel.com, FanDuel Sportsbook app. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, it's Julia Daniels, Reggie Wilson of Care 11. It's Ron Johnson Show. Check out his Blake Cashman interview right here on Locked On Sports Minnesota, and I'm Sam Ekstrom.
And the one thing to talk about Blake Cashman, I asked him who would he pick if he had to bet on the receivers or the DBs. You just got to see what he said.
in a basketball game.
In a basketball game, but he also just talked about athleticism too. So you got to check that out because he said the guys will be mad at me. I know they're gonna be mad at me. So you can't win. They're all your teammates, but if you gotta bet your money, when money's involved, people tell the truth. So
fumbling. Let's talk about fumbling. Aaron Jones, 5 fumbles this year, 2 last week, lost one of them. Ties a career high in Aaron Jones fumbles. Julia, are you freaking out or are you chilling out about the fumbling issues?
At some point, the fumbling issue is really going to cost, what am I trying to say? It's really
going to cost the team.
Cost them. I started saying the word and then I lost the word. At some point, it's really going to cost them. And so, I mean, that's what happens in football. Aaron Jones has been very lucky in that, yes, they were setbacks, but he got his get back a lot of the time when he did this. But at some point, you don't get this under control, it's really going to come back and bite them in the butt. So I think, yeah, you should be freaking out. A turnover in the NFL is a huge deal, especially as a running back when your main purpose is to run and hold on to the ball. So, yeah, I think Vikings fans have every right to be irritated, upset, frustrated with Aaron Jones fumbling the ball because at some point he's not going to be able to get his get back like he has been the past few weeks.
Ron.
I'm a little nervous. And the only reason is because when you look at how the fumbles are happening, it's happening it's not like he's getting hit on the first hit. It's the second hit that it's coming out. So if it was the first hit, I'd be like, okay, that's ball, that's 4 points of protection, tip of the ball, arm in, keep it high and tight, Tiki Barber. It's that second punch when he thinks like, okay, I'm just going down, I'm good to go. And DBs are way more active now with this peanut punch. And so it's the second hit that concerns me is like, is he being too lackadaisical after the hit? because the first hit, he's fine. It's that second hit every single time that you don't know the ball's out. And then all of a sudden you just see a mad dash and everybody's like, where the heck, how did it come out? And then we watch the replay and we're like, oh my gosh, are you serious? So, and they are tied for the 5th most giveaways. And that's what's concerning when you have a defense who's tied for the 2nd most takeaways. You are being very counterproductive offensively. So I'm a little nervous.
Reggie, freak out or chill out?
So I wouldn't say like I'm just all the way chill. Obviously, it's a concern, but I just think this is not who he's been in his career, and I think the confidence that his head coach and his teammates have in him really goes a long way. I will say though, just got to get it together though. Like first play of the game, like you just. What's going on? Just some freak things. You remember last year how just the turnover demon just plagued the Vikings. It hasn't been the same this year, but still just some weird stuff that happens. And this is definitely a weird thing with Jones and these fumbles. But, I think, he's going to make a concerted effort to make sure he's carrying the ball like he should. And I don't think it's going to continue to be a problem.
Yeah, almost their 10th opening drive turnover in the last 2 years.
Goodness
that had been
gracious.
recovered by, if Brian O'Neill hadn't been so opportunistic to jump on the ball. I am probably freaking out more than I'm chilling out because he is officially on the scouting report now. The defensive coordinator is saying in the meetings right now, I don't know who the defensive coordinator is, but I assume Raheem handles a lot of that. So Raheem Morris right now is saying, all right, 33 in purple. Ball security issues. I mean, Sean Murphy Bunting was targeting the ball with Aaron Jones carrying it because I think he's susceptible right now. So that's my concern, is that he's going to now receive even more attention, and he's in his head. I think that he's in his head a little bit. I also heard that his injury, kind of a core issue, maybe he's got some extra padding or armor that's making it more difficult to secure the ball in his midsection. Maybe there's some truth to that, maybe not. But I'm more in freakout mode with the Aaron Jones thing. So we'll see what happens on Sunday against Atlanta. Ron, do you have the takeaway numbers up close to you? I'm curious what the Falcons rank in giveaways, takeaways.
11 takes. They're tied for 8th least in the NFL. So they're not taking it away as much as they're giving it away. 7 interceptions, 4 fumbles.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Ron. The stat team, Ron Johnson over there. So I've got another question for you guys. So I'm going to Michigan this weekend for a hockey series, St. Thomas, Michigan Tech. So jump on the old FanDuel Sportsbook app when I'm there, and I see I'll see that the Vikings are 7th in Super Bowl odds. 7th with a 10-2 record. You've got the teams in front of them: Detroit, Philly, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore with 5 losses, and Green Bay. Then it's Minnesota. Reggie, why is there not a greater level of respect, and what do the Vikings need to do to earn it? And also, should I hammer the Vikings to win the Super Bowl at 1,700 plus 1,700?
You're gonna hammer it, huh? Okay, yeah, maybe not. Maybe
parlay
not.
it with the Wolves to win.
Ooh, okay, you're really pushing it now.
Some value.
Full Minnesota sports fandom right there. But I think it's what Ron said earlier. It's just, I think people still just believe that at some point Darnold is going to see some ghosts and he's going to, tank the team with his play. So I think that's probably the biggest reason. And, the defense plays a good bend but don't break style. And, we've seen some quarterbacks really like run it up on them with numbers. Especially Caleb Williams chopped the defense up, just throwing for more than 300 yards. So I think sometimes maybe you don't believe as much. You kind of saw what Marvin Harrison did to Fabian Moreau on Sunday. Now Stephon Gilmore is questionable with his hammy. I think, on the back end, you believe in guys like Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, but I still think that, there's still just like this thing where I don't know. about some of the back end of the defense and if they could hold up. It's not quite Ed Donatel defense levels, but I think people still are just kind of leery of if they're a complete football team.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings have not wowed since the first half against Green Bay when they took a 28-0 lead. When you play bad to middling teams, which they've done a lot of, like the last 5 weeks, the only way you can wow is by winning by a ton. And the Vikings haven't done that. The last 2 chances they had, I think, to make a statement on a big stage, they lost those games. They lost to Detroit. They lost to LA in national TV. Julia, do you think that's why there's not more respect, is just because there's been zero wow factor really to any of these wins?
I think it's that. I think it's the history of the Vikings in the Super Bowl itself. And I think it has to do with they got 7 games left, and 4 of those last 7 are divisional games. And so they still have like a tough road ahead of them in arguably the most competitive division in the NFL. So I think it's the common thing that we always talk about where Minnesota sports teams tend to get looked over. But I think that it's backed up a little bit in the fact that they had a really tough schedule to start the season out, and then they proved everybody wrong, right? And then they lost those 2 games, some dumb games that they probably should have won. And so now they have to, I think they're just going to have to beat the Lions to really prove themselves as a team. I think that's the number one game that they're like, in order for people to actually have some faith in the Vikings, they're going to have to beat the Lions. And I think the fact that they're in the NFC North is not helping their case either because it is so competitive. But I'm not shocked that they're ranked 7th, but I mean, at the same time, a record does talk. Like 10-2 is not something to just like shake a stick at. That's hard to do in the NFL. Whether it was pretty or not, the record is 10-2 and a win is a win. But I do think that this last stretch here is going to be very telling of who this, and we talked about that all year too. We were like, when December comes is when we'll find out who the Vikings really are. And I think that we'll find out how good they really are and how complete, like Reggie said, they are as a team this month for sure.
Mm-hmm. Ron, why no respect?
I think that's respect, honestly. Like the only team that I would question is the Packers. Like those other 3 you named, it's valuable because the NFC, you got to go Lions, Eagles there. And then the AFC, you have to go Bills, Kansas City, and Baltimore. I think
Why Baltimore, though? Why Baltimore?
Because Lamar Jackson is electric. And if you watch the last couple of games he's played, like they have the ability to really, and Harbaugh's been there before and he's won it before, and on the national stage, against his big brother, little brother, he showed what his team could do. They have Derrick Henry, where, in the playoffs, a run game in the snow, a run game is going to matter the most. And they are one of the most explosive run game teams in the NFL. So that's where I think the Ravens get their respect from. And I think the Ravens could beat defensively. You think about it, they could beat Kansas City because Kansas City is living on a prayer. And it's so funny. Kansas City is winning games in ironic fashion and nobody's questioning it, but the Vikings win close games. And it's like, oh, the other shoe's going to drop at some point. But I would say of that group, I would say 6. If at the worst 5th, and maybe put them ahead of the Ravens, but I'd say in that number, if I'm betting, I'd say 6 because the Ravens, in my opinion, have a better chance to win over the Vikings when you think about the Vikings have to get through the Lions and the Eagles to get there, whereas the Ravens have a shaky Chiefs team and they have a Bills team where we don't know what's going to happen. I will say Josh Allen's probably way more comfortable now that he's engaged. Like he can relax. The streets of New York can relax. They don't have to deal with Josh Allen out prowling at night. So, I think he's going to be well rested. He's going to be a different player. Watch his December, January football. Josh Allen this month is about to have a month. Like he's about to have a month. And so,
he threw and caught his own touchdown last week. The month has already started. He's playing around in the snow.
And that's after engagement. That he got engaged and he's like, you know what? Superman. Yeah, like it just.
Do you guys also think maybe something that has to do with that is like Justin Jefferson hasn't had like a crazy game here recently? Do you think that because like
teams are taking him away? So yeah, like nobody.
Blaming like Lamar and Derrick Henry and like because these guys are on this team, but because Justin Jefferson hasn't had this like crazy, that we've seen in the past 2 years.
But Addison has though. Addison went for 162 on national TV. Like it's just, I just think people are concerned about the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold. Like somebody's gonna go off, and like Spice Adams even joked about it, but it came true. Take Justin Jefferson away and let everything else happen around it. Like everybody says that. I'm gonna take Justin Jefferson away and I'm gonna let the rest fall to where it falls. And I think that's the biggest key with this team is if they take Justin Jefferson away, which who they just played, the Bears did. And it was a close game. Can they still win games with Justin Jefferson being held to 3 targets? Like that's what I think the world wants to see. And again, Raheem Morris, I think he's going to do the same thing. It's a copycat league. They're going to watch that film and say, let's put a safety over the top. Let's put a corner over him. And then let's put a linebacker underneath. Let's see if Sam Darnold can make these hole throws. And so I just hope Sam Darnold doesn't force it and he's willing to go to somebody else.
Well, plenty more on the Falcons specifically, the scouting report there on Thursday's Minnesota Football Party. But to end this show, we're going to make a bold prediction. And we're going to make predictions that are measurable, that are objective, that are trackable so that we can have winners and losers and then brag about it next week. So, Reggie, why don't you give us a bold prediction for Sunday's game, and we'll see what happens. And we'll keep track, and then we'll, winner will have bragging rights at the end of the year.
None of my bold predictions ever work out, so I'm just going to do what I do, I'm going to say Justin Jefferson breaks out with a 2-touchdown performance.
Jefferson 2 TDs. The parlay of touchdown scorers last week for the Vikings, Munt and Jones with receiving touchdowns. I don't think anybody had that at FanDuel. Julia?
I'm going DJ Hawkinson's going to get his first touchdown this week. That's what
Hawkinson finds the end zone.
Yeah.
All right.
It's about time.
I'm going to say Falcons have 3 turnovers.
3 turnovers. I'm going to go a step further. The Falcons, as a result of those turnovers, which Kirk Cousins will be involved with, this will be Kirk Cousins' final start as a Falcon.
Ooh.
Gasp.
Ooh.
Yeah. If the Falcons lose 4 in a row, 6 and 7, but they're still in contention, would they say, all right, if we want to go somewhere this year, we got to give Penix a shot? Could it happen? If Cousins throws 3 picks, he's thrown 9 picks in 4 weeks, no touchdowns, and seems rattled, this could be the trigger point for them to make that move. So again, mine can't come true until they cut him. So mine won't cash for a while, but it's a bold prediction segment. That's our show for today. Julia Daniels, Reggie Wilson, Care 11. Check them out. Check out their work. Care11.com. Ron Johnson Show. Check out his interview with Blake Cashman. And I'm Sam Ekstrom. Thanks for watching, listening, and subscribing at Locked On Sports Minnesota. Find our show in the Locked On Vikings audio feed. We will talk to you not only tomorrow on the football party, but also Sunday on the postcast after the Vikings and Falcons. Thanks for watching.